So Steve, you got a bit of a hard time last time saying what was wrong when we started. What was right today?
What was right, I thought the guys all performed individually to a high standard, as units, as a team. Yeah, we pretty much, that was how we want Tunbridge Wells to look. They took ownership of that. There was good leadership in every single unit, and we got the goals at good time, and we kept the door shut. We didn't allow anyone back in with a sloppy goal.
Yeah, because I think we'll talk about the players later, but I think you should take some credit as well, because actually that was your game plan, and they stuck to it. Like we've been saying, if they stick to your game plan, we'll win, and we did today, because nobody would have thought we'd beat Whitstable 3-0 like we have at the start. So you've got to take some of the credit.
Well, I guess the plan is mine, and then the boys have to execute the plan, and when it works, that's great, isn't it? I mean, I felt today that we had a strong squad. And if we hadn't have performed today, I probably would have had to start looking in the mirror at whether I've got it wrong, because I actually looked at our squad today and thought, wow, that's strong. So if I'm looking at it saying it's strong, then it needs to perform, or I'm obviously getting it wrong somehow. So that was maybe give me a little bit of reassurance we're on the right track.
It wasn't just the team on the pitch was strong, or the bench. I mean, there's players today who weren't playing, who must be really paid off, if they're being honest. But the squad is so strong that, we've got 20, 21 players who all could start.
I agree. We have got a big squad, and that's possibly possibly an overspill of me coming in so late. But yeah, Don was on holiday today. Mo's still injured. Ed's still injured, although it was the third game of his ban anyway. George obviously is still injured at the moment. Harry Hudson had a social engagement. Cam was meant to be playing for the reserves, so yeah, it's and Zach's ill, so yeah, when you kind of potentially add those names to the mix, it's
and then when you look and the ones on the bench,
strong bench, that's really strong bench, and kind of said to them, I've had to make some hard decisions on selection. I'm doing it for the good of the team as I see it, and likewise with them, whatever their role is today, whether it's starting, whether it's sub, whether it's unused, I just really hope that they can conduct themselves in a way that's for the good of the team. That's literally, the team's bigger than me, it's bigger than anyone.
What you want is people like Sidgy, he had a great pre-season, he had a bit of a family problem, he's come back, he's just bided his time, and these last two games he's been brilliant, he's been a revelation, he's just done, and he's done it perfectly. That's what you want.
Obviously I missed pre-season, and Sidgy had kind of had to leave at the point I came in, so I didn't meet him for about 3 weeks, and by that time, we'd kind of gone a different direction, and he's been very patient. I've been communicating with him the whole time. I actually set up a loan for him, which he, after a little bit of thought, decided against, because he didn't want to risk falling off of my radar. Not that he would have done, because I wouldn't loan anyone out somewhere where I'm not going to touch base. But yeah, he's been very patient. He got his chance Tuesday due to Tom's unavailability, and I just felt he needed to be rewarded for his performance with another start. And again, I think he's had a good game. He got the yellow card, which was a little bit unfortunate, but I think he's pretty much exemplary, really.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been any one of that 11. Rory's had another great game back at left back. We wouldn't have thought of that 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would. And in truth, I'm sure if you said to him, tell me the 3 positions you'd like to play in, left back's probably not going to be one of them. But for me, obviously Ed's out, Mo's out. I brought Ben back into the squad on the bench today. And obviously JP, but I've gone with Rory again. I picked him at Holmesdale, and I thought he'd done well. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, because like in midfield, it showed how the importance of having Walder and Luke there, but also Billy, without being like catching your eye loads, he was excellent today. And I think the point of that was a certain former player got taken off at half time because he couldn't get near him. We were running the midfield, and I felt sorry for Jack Palmby actually, because he was playing all right.
I thought Palmby was having a good game.
Yeah, I did. Again, I was scratching my head.
It's not under my control what happens there, but Bill was great today. He won the penalty. I'm pretty sure he's heavily involved in Trev's first goal. He spun the ball out to Regan, and he's an absolute threat. All our attacking players, are absolute threats.
Well, look at the 2 goals where you had well, Festos' goal is just going to be one of the goals of the season. He beat so many people down the wing, then cuts inside, held off on one guy, went past him, held off on another one, then cut it back the opposite direction when he knew where there was. Here's a great goal. And then, like you said, the other one where it was played out and eventually through Billy, etc., ended up with Regan. He rips him apart on the wing, and that is such a beautiful goal. Charles goals. It's a perfect one, right in the middle of the goal, just bang it in.
Yeah,
both goals came from
that's how we try and play.
Came from your game plan.
Well, when it works, I guess you can enjoy a moment, but the real key thing is to do it week in, week out now, isn't it? The boys have just demonstrated what we're capable of.
Yeah, it's this consistency.
Yeah, and it's one thing doing it, at home. We've got a really tough away day next week, so let's hope we can back it up and do it again.
I think, and that's what we just, over the course of the season, I think we just got to be a bit more pragmatic because of how we are at the time. We're going to have midweek games where we don't go so well, then we'll have other great games where we play brilliantly, and we might carry that for you, and then we'll have another one. It's going to be like that, and I think if we just see the progress, and I think that's what got me today, you could see there was progress of things fitting together.
I just want to really work on trying to make subtle things, small improvements that make it less likely we're going to be inconsistent. So we're constantly talking to the boys about little things like their jobs, like their input as leaders, the information they can give, the consistency of what they do. Because I honestly believe there's a squad of players here on paper who could challenge the playoffs.
Definitely.
But on paper ain't good enough. You've got to turn up game after game after game after game, and it's a very demanding league. It's a very demanding schedule. You can't have days like we've had a few of so far where you don't turn up. And that's the journey, isn't it? The journey is to try and do everything we can to make sure we perform more like that than like a couple of the other games.
Yeah, I think you're right, because that's, Festus did a great job. Then you bring on the likes of
Alpha,
Alpha, he came on. Frankie can't be overly joyed at the moment, but he came on and boy, he did a great job. And he was so vocal and pushed everybody forward when we needed it. Frank, those little things.
Yeah, Frank was superb. There was 6 minutes of stoppage time, so Frank's done a good 25, 26 minutes there, and he really come on at a pivotal moment. And he's coming on for Wolves, who is our talisman. Let's be honest. And I thought he was super. I think Frank was superb.
He was brilliant.
Yeah,
and like I say, it wasn't just his play; it was his. He was leading. He was so vocal and telling people what to do.
To be honest, he's a senior player, and granted,
and he showed that.
Yeah, he's a senior player, and I understand and appreciate why he could be a little bit miffed with his role, but I can also appreciate and respect his conduct and the way
when he comes on, he's
doing
brilliant.
everything he can to be positive. So, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he wants to be starting.
And like you say, you've got other everybody that comes on did a job today, and I think it was the whole team.
JP come on and I actually thought done really, really well. And Alpha, we know Alpha's an impact. It's always been the plan to have 4 wingers, and there's no hierarchy there. It's not like I've got 2 first choice and 2 second choice.
And they're all a threat. They're all great.
I think they'll all get rotated a bit throughout the season.
We haven't even got Mo, and we're still dominating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, still here watching those. So
that's what I'm saying.
Mo was here, Ed was here, Cam was here.
brilliant.
All boys that, and Dom's been here. He's on holiday at the moment, but Dom's been here in the past when he hasn't been in the squad. So
Festos was turning up to training when he couldn't even train.
Yeah, so that's really pleasing. And I think it perhaps just shows what we're trying to build off the pitch as well.
I mentioned virtually everybody. The guy that stuck out to me today, who I thought had a great game, was Glover in goal.
Yeah.
He kept us in. Let's be honest, he made 2 or 3 saves that kept that sheet clean.
Yeah, I mean,
it was down to him. He did really well 2 or 3 times again.
It takes a little while to settle into a new side, doesn't it? Whenever you come in, also from Glove's point of view, he hadn't been playing a lot of football before he came here. So it was always going to take him a little bit of time to get up to speed. I personally believe the turning point was when he came and done a training session with us the other week. I think that just allowed us to allowed him to be a little bit more himself as a personality, as much as just a guy in goal for the game.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I think his level's gone up. I don't think you couldn't hold him accountable at all on Tuesday. I think he made one very good save and couldn't do anything about either of the goals, and he's picked up and carried on from there.
Today
I'm
he
really
was he
pleased.
did everything right. He commanded his box. When he had to make pulls off saves, he pulled off saves. Crosses he cleared off. He did, you know. I think he's done. He is, like you're saying, it looks like the guy that hadn't played football and is sort of like just getting to the end of his pre-season and is clicking at last.
No different with Festos, really.
Yeah.
You know, he had a very disruptive pre-season, and he's now just starting to come good. Fantastic today. There's a few other boys. You know, Dan Tier didn't have any pre-season, so again, you know, great to get 90 minutes out of him. His groin has been a little bit of a plague for him. He's got through it. He's, you know, give me the thumbs up at the end. So there's a few that are just still trying to get themselves up to what they would consider their 100%, and we're only going to benefit once they get there.
Yeah, because like I say, if you'd asked anybody, not just us, but anybody of other Skiffle sides fans, who would win 3-0 today, it wouldn't have been us. They'd have all said, oh, Whitstable, look at all the money they spent, all the rest of it. And we've come away and Whitstable haven't been in the game. Be honest.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect from Whitstable because they lost to Lingfield in the Vars last week, and I think the game before that they lost 3-0 to Deal, so they're in maybe a little bit of a rut for them. But then again, they absolutely battered Haywards Heath earlier in the season, who were one of the favourites to win the Sussex Counties League. And I looked back through their results quickly, and I saw there was some credible ones in there. So a little bit like ourselves, and a little bit like a lot of the teams in the league. It's hard to be consistent when you're up against constantly good opposition.
Well, I think also individually their players look really good today.
Yeah.
And I think we should get some credit because actually it wasn't that they lost it, we beat them. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what they're trying to do. I ain't going to go into too much detail on camera, but I can see what Marcel's trying to do, and I've got a lot of respect for it. And I'm sure on days when it clicks, they will be an absolute menace. Some of the rotations, some of the way they're using, you know, people dropping in, people spinning out. There's a lot of technical detail there which will cause problems.
Yeah, but today we stopped that.
Yeah.
We stopped them benefiting from it.
Yeah, we were good.
You know, we
today.
should,
Yeah, we were
as
good
much
today.
as we, you know, we had to take criticism when we lose. I think you should take the applause when it's given because we won that today.
Yeah, but as my catchphrase, you know, never too high, never too low, Will. It's really pleasing. I'll enjoy my beer, if I'm allowed to say that on camera, and then I'll go home and I'll reflect on a good day's work. But that's all it is. You know, then we've got a training session and another one next week.
Yeah, we can't wait for fishing now. It's always a good day out.
It's a good away day, isn't it? It's a good away day, good club, good set of people. Got a lot of respect for AJ. I think he does a fantastic job over there building squads every season. And let's bring it on, eh?
Yeah, brilliant.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.